So thank you all for coming. Thank you, Ben and Martin, for inviting me. So I hope you're going to enjoy hearing about the ideas that I've come up with. I'll apologize in advance. There may be more than 9.5 by the end of this because I kept getting distracted while I was going through and going off on various tangents during my research. But I've included lots of extra links, as you'll see along the way. So you don't have to frantically try and copy the links that I'm showing you. You'll get them all at the end. Some of the ideas I came up with this morning, even while I was going through things at the last minute. So hopefully you'll enjoy them. There may be more than 9.5. Hopefully nobody's counting. So, right, just going to scroll down. First of all, I'm not a designer. Those of you who are designers are probably sat there thinking, duh, we could tell that from your first couple of slides. Um, but in the course of my work, I do work with lots of designers, and I generally have lots of ideas floating around in my head. Today, I've got the privilege of talking to you about some of those ideas, some of the ideas I've used in my business already. Some are still on the to-do list. Some occurred to me quite recently, as I said, but I hope you'll find them useful. And at the end, you'll want to go away and try out at least some of them. Now, some of the ideas I'm going to show you are aimed at designers, but not all of them. And if you are designers, you might already be doing some of the things I'm going to show you, but hopefully there'll be some ideas in here which you're not already doing, which you haven't considered before. And I've purposefully tried to include as many ideas as possible, which any business owner could use to enchant their clients or even enchant their potential clients with a view to turning them into real clients further down the line. So, first idea, and this is potentially one of the half ideas because I've half nicked an idea from Jude, which she presented in her workshop in April. She talked about using the website as a hub, as a center of information, and instead of using Linktree, oh dear, Jude's disappeared. Jude, it's in a good way. I'm just going to build on what you said. I'm not replacing what you said. So to tack on to what Jude suggested, you can use Linktree as a source of links, but if you want more control over a business card page, there's a WordPress plugin which you can add to your website. If you add this plugin, it then gives you the facility to add a contact page or more than a contact page to your website. You can have all sorts of social media links, videos, photo galleries, all the things that you can do on Linktree, but you have more control over it because it's on your website. So if you want to start going down that route, this is a way to do it. You don't have to use Linktree. You can use other plugins are available. Of course, there are other ones out there as well, but this is one particular plugin that I've found. And if you install that and use it on your WordPress website, it can give you a lot more control over the situation. You can add exactly what you want instead of having to follow Linktree's rules and guidelines. So number 2, create a custom Zoom background for them. This is something I've obviously done already. I've had my custom Zoom background for quite some time. But if you've done a lot of design work for clients, you've come up with brand guidelines, colors, font faces, font, all sorts of stuff like that. One thing, the reason this came up as a thought, because a few months ago, I was on a Zoom call with a group and there were some people there I didn't know. And I thought that one of the people on there was going to introduce herself as an accountant because her background was a lot of filing cabinets and there were lots of piles of paper on top of the filing cabinets. And it looked to me what I imagine an accountant's office looked like. And then she introduced herself and it turned out she was an image stylist personal shopper who worked with people to work out their colors, what clothes would suit them. And it just seemed to me she wasn't making the most of the background behind her to show what she did. She could have had some pictures of color charts or pictures of clients in clothes she'd picked out for them. And I think a lot of people aren't using the Zoom background behind them when they're on calls like this to take flee, for example, you've got your equipment behind you. You could also, I've seen photographers who have slideshows behind them of headshots that they've taken and photos that they've taken. Lots of people don't use the space behind them at all on Zoom calls. So if you're already done some design background for your clients or some design work for your clients, why not present them with a Zoom background, right colors, right font faces that they can use in online meetings. And if you want, you could even build a retainer in for clients. I'm going to add in extra bonus points for seasonal variations. You could have snow falling in the winter. You could have leaves falling in the autumn. You could have penguins. You could have any. There's all sorts of. You could have Easter eggs. I've got. You might have seen it. I've got a Zoom background with the Easter Bunny Lego minifigure that I can use at Easter. There's all sorts of seasonal variations. If you wanted to build in a retainer for your clients and say, I will provide you with Zoom backgrounds at various points during the year so it can rotate so people don't get used to you always having the same Zoom background. So that's my idea for Zoom backgrounds. And once I'd gone down the Zoom background idea, I also found some links with cheat sheets for social media backgrounds, because lots of companies use all sorts of different social media platforms, and they all have different rules and regulations for image sizes and backgrounds. And let's go through. So you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you've got Twitter, you've got LinkedIn, you've got TikTok. They will recommend different size pictures. Why not provide images or background images, profile images for your clients to ask them what social media platforms they use and present them with a suite of images for use on the different social media platforms that they use. So this was Social Pilot that I found. And I also found pretty much the same thing from Social Bee. Again, it's a social media image size cheat sheet. And it goes through and it lists everything via the different social media. So if you're already doing the design work for your clients, I don't imagine it would be that much more work to just create images that they can use in different sizes on the different social media platforms. And it might not be something they've thought of. They might be very grateful for the extra thought you're putting in. So those are the two social media cheat sheet links on there. I'll close those. So that was one rabbit hole I went down. Got from Zoom backgrounds to all sorts of social media platforms. And continuing the theme of backgrounds, I've got this little screenshot there is my mobile phone. You don't have to have it on there all the time. You can have different home screen or lock screen backgrounds on your mobile phone, but that's a QR code which goes straight to my LinkedIn profile. So if I'm at an in-person networking event, instead of doing the usual let's connect later on LinkedIn, you can of course do that, but if you want to give somebody a link to your LinkedIn profile straight away, you can just hold your phone out and they can use their phone to go straight to your LinkedIn profile and connect with you there. And also you'll see the little LinkedIn logo in the middle of the QR code. There's support links I found. So there's a link to Zoom support, which is all about how to change your background. Oh, this is going back, isn't it? So this is more information about changing your Zoom background, how to do it, what size it should be, things like that. Should have done that in the last bit. Right. And then, so when it comes to mobile phone backgrounds, there's a generator called QR Code Monkey. And you can enter the URL, you can generate the QR code, but you can also put a logo in the middle of it. So if we go back, you'll see I put a LinkedIn logo in the middle of that, but you could put your client's logo in the middle of the QR code. And then it just gives them another easy way at in-person networking of getting somebody to link to their LinkedIn profile and connect with them without even having to unlock the phone. You can just hold it up and they can link directly to your LinkedIn profile. So again, with the design work, once you put in all the design work for your client, or you could just do it for your own business. Just put a lock screen image on your mobile phone when you're going to an in-person networking event. Make it easy for people to find your LinkedIn profile. So I think the other link I've included here, just in case, is some people use Canva for generating pictures. Canva also lets you create QR codes directly from Canva. So it's another, if you don't want to use QR Code Monkey or you don't get on with it, there are all sorts of free QR code generators out there. Just Google QR code generator. There's hundreds of ways to generate them, but these are the two I've just picked. I like QR Code Monkey because of the ability to add the logo to the middle of the QR code, so you can personalize it a bit more than the other generic QR codes. So those of you who know me probably thought I couldn't get through a presentation without mentioning Lego at least once. So the little Lego figure up in the top corner of each of the slides does actually exist. It's a little mini figure that I had created. It says web hosting happiness engineer. Looks a bit like me. Has about the same amount of hair. But it's a way. There are various websites out there where if you want to say thank you to somebody or create a gift for somebody, I've done it for our family as well. We've got family minifigures. Our little one is a Manchester United fan, although from what he said recently, he may be reconsidering that position after the season they've had. But he's at the minute has got a minifigure with a Man United kit on it, because these sites that you go to, you can create all sorts of customized minifigures. So the site I'm going to show you is called Minifigs, and you can create your own minifigure. Torso, you can put writing on it if you want, face, hair, you can generate all sorts, anything you want. And there's, once you've created the minifigure, if you want to present it to somebody, there's also there you go, this display bit. So you can, there's base plates, there's back panels. If you want to have more than a minifigure, there's back panels. You can customize the back panels. There's laser cut back panels. You can even have a whole, you've got a Doctor Who fan, you can put it in the TARDIS, you can put it in an office, you can put it in a bedroom. There's all sorts of things you can add to the minifigure if you want. And the other thing you can do if you want is put it in a frame. I know Martin did this recently for a minifigure he created for somebody. Frame it, make it more of a gift. So it's more than just a minifigure. You can create a gift out of it. So there's all sorts of options if you want to go down the minifigure, or you can just create your own personal minifigures and keep them, like I do if you want. But if you want to create a gift for somebody else as well, this is an option. And if you want to create more, the other link I'm going to show you is a website called Minifigured. Now, it's the same sort of thing. They're not quite Lego minifigures. They have to be slightly different for copyright reasons, apparently, but they're very similar. Come with packaging, you design your own packaging. And if you go into a trade fair or you want to do something on a larger scale than just one or two minifigures for people, this company have a minimum order of 100. But if you're going to a trade fair or you want to do a big marketing campaign with minifigures, this is something you can do. You can design everything from the minifigure, the packaging, all sorts of things. If you, for your business, for your client's business, it might be something they didn't know about, they haven't considered, you could recommend it. There's all sorts of options. But so minifigs is more for individual one or two or smaller numbers of minifigures, and minifigured is minimum order of 100 according to their frequently asked questions page. I'm sure they'd do you more if you wanted, but that's two different ways of building minifigures into your business strategy. So let's get rid of those. When you go to a website, if the page can't be found, you get what's called a 404 error. And usually it's just an error message comes up, page could not be found. But it can be customized. And some companies, it's an underused resource, I would say. Some people aren't even aware that you can customize this page, but you can do, and you can build a customized error page for your clients while you're building their website, or you could have a customized 404 error page on your own website. And I'm going to show you some examples. So these are some examples of error pages that go beyond the pure and simple, sorry, page could not be found. So you can customize the whole page. And there's 28 examples here. So Novak Djokovic has obviously got a tennis related page. This is one I'll come back to in a minute because this one I especially liked. Um, but you can see there's some more. So Pixar, for example, they've got one of their own little characters. They've customized the page quite extensively. Um, these are quite impressive, just building on the brand awareness, brand images, brand colors. I'm going to, this is quite a good one. This was something, a website related to something dog related, but they've also put all their contact information. It's a subtle way of getting your phone number into the contact page with these little tear off strips. Um, I haven't mentioned Lego for about 6 minutes, so I thought I'd better mention Lego again. Lego have a customized error page. I think it might have changed since this one was taken, but I'm sure they have a number of variations on their website for what happens if the page could not be found. NASA have got a space related error page. And down at the end, I think there was something. Oh, Dilbert. Dilbert's got a cartoon on there, which you can obviously enjoy while you're working out that your page doesn't exist. So it's an underused resource, I would say, for building a custom 404 error page. You can use your brand guidelines. You can uh, colors. You can use it as a search box. You can have most common. You could have links to blog articles, most popular blog articles. You can have a link back to the homepage, a link to the pages most frequently read on the website. The one that got my attention and that I played for quite a while. This is a 404 page, and it's Space Invaders, and you can actually play it. So this had me distracted for quite. And when you finish the game, I think they give you a special offer or something like that. So I'm not suggesting that you go this far, but it's a possibility. Or if you just want to have a game of Space Invaders and stop whatever you're doing at the time, you can go and play Space Invaders. So that's the Kualo, the company is called. The link's in the links. But that's an example of how far you can go if you want with customized error pages. And this article was 28 just examples of what you can do. I'd say people aren't generally aware that you can do this with error pages. And if you're creating a website for somebody, or you've got a website and you haven't used this, use the page. Come on, just let your imagination run free. Right. Number 6. I've talked about this a couple of times before. The most popular scheduling application that people are used to is Calendly, and it works. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Calendly. I've used it in the past, but it's very generic. There's not a lot of scope for customizing things. You just send people a link to your Calendly page. They can choose a date, and then uh, they can book an appointment with you. Especially if you've got somebody you really want an appointment with, if you want to go that extra mile, you want to impress them. But just generally, Zcal lets you do a lot more than Calendly, and as far as I can see, almost all of it is free. You don't have to pay for Zcal, um, but you can do a lot more with it. So this is the Zcal website, and you can go and sign up. And the principle is the same, but I'm going to show you. This is a page I created quite some time ago, but the example holds true. So this is a page I created for a meeting with Jody. So if you look up at the top, you can see you can customize the URL. It says meeting with Jody. I can customize the background. You can add their own. I usually use people's LinkedIn banners. Just take a copy of the LinkedIn banner and add it to this page. I recorded a video message for Jody. I put a little message in just for Jody to read. I could choose specific dates on which to offer a meeting. You can go so far beyond what you can do with generic Calendly. Um, the people I've used this for, who I wanted to have a meeting with, have always accepted my invitation and booked a call. Nobody said no, thank you. This impresses people. So if you want to impress people, somebody you really want to have a meeting with, I would say it's worth going there. It doesn't take very long once you get the hang of it. Record a quick video message, write a quick text message, configure the graphics, choose some dates, choose the URL. It just makes it look like you spent a bit of time and effort preparing an invitation for them rather than just sending them a generic Calendly link. So if you get time and this is something you're interested in, I highly recommend have a look at ZCal and set up some meeting or potential meeting pages with people you want to have a chat with. And they're going to be more impressed. And hopefully they'll take you up on the offer. You'll have a chat and it will lead to collaboration. So that's ZCal. There's the link. There's the example of the page. One thing you could do for your clients at the minute, it's been in the news with Marks and Spencer's, Co-op, Harrods. There's been so many cyber attacks recently. Now, one thing I would say, lots of small business owners see all these news reports and think, oh, it'll never happen to me. We're too small. That absolutely is not the case. It doesn't matter how small you are. These cyber criminals will go after anybody. They're just looking for weaknesses. And the weaknesses is usually the squidgy thing sitting in the chair using a keyboard. It's preying on people's weaknesses. And if you can provide some extra security training, keep your clients safe online, yeah, it's got to be a good thing. Hopefully, it will help them in the long run just to be less likely to fall victim to cyber scams. So the platform that I use is called Monster Secure. And as an agency, you can sign up to this and then you pay an annual fee, but then you can provide training for clients. You can provide them with a link. And this is what the the training is all completely separate. It's all white labeled. So they'll never know there's no link between the training and Monster Secure. So your clients wouldn't know that you're using this service. It's completely white label platform that they will see. But this is the course that they will get to see. So this is the course content. So it's all video modules. So introduction, and then it goes through making sure your computer's secure. What's two-factor authentication? Are you using a password manager? Protect yourself. Protect yourself from social engineering attacks. What to be aware of. It doesn't take very long. I think it's about half an hour, somewhere between half an hour and an hour to go through this. But it's an extra service that you could offer to your clients, which will hopefully keep them more safe in the long run. If you click on one, I'll just show you. Well, look, basically, it's video training. So it starts off, and there you go. So there's each of those modules. That one's about 5 minutes, no, 2 minutes. So they're really not very long modules. But the whole point is, it's things that clients might not be aware of, but hopefully it will keep them safe. And you can go through each of those lessons, and then at the end, I think you get a certificate. You take a quiz, and then you can get a little certificate to say you've done the course. But again, it's just an add-on service that you can provide for your clients to hopefully keep them safe. And this is another one. I went down a bit of a rabbit hole once I'd started. You might not, some of you might know, there's a centres called the National Cyber Resilience Centres, and they cover the whole of the UK. So ours for Essex and Kent, in where I am, but they cover the whole of the UK. And you can basically they've been set up to provide free advice and training for small businesses because the police will never have the resources to deal with all the attacks once they've happened. So the police and the authorities' best bet is to educate people so they don't fall for the scams. So they're doing these small groups of people, but they're doing all they can to get out and educate people how not to fall for scams. You can sign up for free newsletters with your relevant cyber resilience center. So the Eastern Cyber Resilience Center is ours. You can join the community for free. You can sign up. They'll send you free newsletters, what to be aware of, handy tips every now and again. They go to business shows. You can talk to them. There's various services. They partner with universities, students studying IT who can go out and help companies become more cyber aware and less likely to fall for cyber scams. So I definitely recommend at least signing up for their newsletters and finding out more about the cyber resilience centers in the part of the country where you are. And next down my little rabbit hole, the National Cyber Security Centre have something called My Cyber Toolkit, which is just a little checklist which you can go through. And hopefully it will keep your business, so as it says here, keep your money and your reputation safe. It means you're less likely to fall for scams. So this is aimed at small businesses. Are your email accounts secure? Are your devices secure? Have you run the updates? Are you using secure passwords? You can do it all at your own pace. There's no pressure, but each of these steps will help you be more secure, less likely to fall for scams, and you can see your progress as well. So again, recommend use it for your business. Recommend it to your clients. It's free. My Cyber Toolkit, it's called. Again, it's cybersecurity. There's hundreds of resources and options out there, but these are just the ones I've chosen and shown you today. We could do hours on just cybersecurity. It's such a hot topic at the minute, especially with it being in the news with what's happened to Marks and Spencers and the Co-op and the other companies. But don't think it just happens to big companies, is what I'd say. It happens to lots of small companies as well. And you cannot be too small to fall victim to these things, but you can put measures in place to make it less likely that you will be a victim. So I highly recommend uh, doing that. And if you've got any questions about it, I know a bit about it. I know a lot of people, or I know some people who know a lot more about it. So feel free, let me know. We can have a chat. I can point you in the direction of people who know a lot more about this and can help. So that's the cybersecurity side of things. Privacy policies are something that people sometimes don't have at all, sometimes just copy from other websites and cross their fingers and hope for the best and never think about it again. But there are companies out there are service providers out there that you can use. And the one I use and I know about is called Termageddon. And you fill in a quick form. If you're an agency, you can sign up as a reseller and then you can provide this service to the clients and the websites that you're building. They fill in a quick form about what they need, what their company does, what the website does. It generates the privacy policy automatically, but then Thermageddon also monitor the laws of the land. So they're an American company, but they cover the UK and Australia and Canada as well. When the law of the land changes, if the law of the land changes, they will update the privacy policy accordingly. So you can be certain that your privacy policy is always up to date and always has the right information in it, and you don't have to do anything. It all happens automatically once they've signed up. But you can say you can sign up as a reseller. You can use it for your own company if you want. But if you're an agency providing services to clients, you can act as a reseller. You can provide these privacy policies for all your client websites, and you can set them up, and then you don't have to worry about them again. You can be confident that if anything does need to be changed because the law has changed, you don't have to keep on top of it. You don't have to watch the news about privacy policies. Termageddon will take care of it, and the privacy policy will update automatically. There you go. So that's setting up privacy policies. That's number 8. So number 9, if you're astonished to hear this is another rabbit hole I went down, do something good for the environment. Um, Hopefully it will enchant your clients, that you feel better, and everybody benefits. So I thought I'd find a couple of links and then it got a bit out of hand. So strap in, here we go. So the first one I'm going to show you, this is one that several companies I know use. It's called Tree Nation. And basically you sign up and when you make a sale or sign up a new client, you can buy a tree or plant a tree. So you make a contribution to this organization. You choose how and when, but you can publicize it. Sign up as a client, we'll plant a tree, renew for another year if you've got retainers for your clients. Renew for another year, we'll plant a tree, we'll plant 2 trees, we'll plant a forest, whatever you want to do. But you can show your clients how working with you is benefiting the environment. So this one's called Tree Nation. They're on a mission to plant lots of trees. And I think companies can create company forests. So you can you keep track of how many trees you're planting and how big your forest is growing. And then you can show your clients, your potential clients, what a contribution you're making over time. So that one's Tree Nation. And then there's quite a few, as it turns out, sort of organizations who do the same sort of thing. So this one's called Just One Tree. And again, you can make a contribution. You can say, sign up as a client, make a sale, and they keep track of the trees they're planting, where they're planting them. I'm actually going to go and, because this, like, just to show how frequently I go off at a tangent, I was looking through this one this morning and I found another way to enchant your clients. on this website that I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to go down and say about us. This one, meet the team. Oh, it wasn't. I'll come back to it. Maybe it was the next one. Right. So this is one example. And the next one I found was called 1% for the planet. And again, the concept is very similar. Um, you decide what you want to contribute and then decide how you want to. This is what I found this morning. So this is another way to enchant your clients. This is an about page. So they've got pictures of all their team on, but you can use that. It doesn't have to just be an about page. You could use it. I'm guessing when you put your mouse over it, it changes. So I'm guessing Alison wants to win Strictly Come Dancing at some point. Well, that's why she's holding up a glitter ball. Anna likes skiing or snowboarding. You can add a little bit of extra to the about page. It doesn't just have to be one picture of your clients. So when I went down here, I'm guessing Emily likes music. You can just add a little bit of personality to the about page by having mouse overs and changing the pictures. Celine likes reading. So this is another way you could enchant your clients rather than just building, if they've got a team of staff and having pictures on the page, you could animate it or have a mouse over just to add a little bit more personality and tell people a little bit more about the people involved. And you're going to be taking pictures anyway, so why not take an alternative picture for the mouse over? There you go. And then it just that makes the about page a little more interesting than just still images. There you go. So that was how I got carried away this morning. So let's go back. So these are all getting back on topic briefly. These are all organizations where you can contribute money to help the environment in different ways. And then I'm going to show you a couple more examples I've got. So Kiva isn't quite the same, but this is, I've been using this for years. You can just go on, it's funding businesses in less developed countries. You can go on and they always have a list of loans that they're looking to fulfill. And it shows you the country and a quick summary of what they're looking for and how much they're looking for. So this one, Joanna in Ecuador, for example, if you want to, you can click on it and it will tell you a bit more. How much does she want? What's the loan for? And then it tells you a bit more about the story of the person. And then you don't have to finance the whole thing. It's done in little, you can choose how much you want to contribute, but the smallest is $25, which is about £20. And you say, I want to contribute to this. And then when it's over time, hopefully it will be fully funded by lots of different people who go to the website, and then the loan is dispersed, and then you get updates on the progress that the business is making. So if you get a chance, if you fancy doing something different to the environmental stuff, you don't want to plant a tree, but you want to help businesses in other countries, they're all around the world. You can see all over North America, Central America, South America, Africa, all around the world, different. If you want to help a particular country, you can choose that country and see loans from that country, and then you get reports on how the repayments are going, and when the money is repaid, you can loan it again to somebody else. So I highly recommend this one. I've been doing it for quite some time, but it's just a way to help businesses in less developed countries. And this is something similar as well. This is another organization that I'm involved with. Do this. This is Business for Good, it's called, and you can create an impact, or you decide how you want to, or what impact you want to have, basically. So you can provide access to education. You can provide access to food. You can plant trees. You can provide food. You can provide shelter. All these options, you can just decide how you want your contribution or what you want your contribution to go towards, and then keep track of it. So it's a bit like the environmental ones we saw first, but slightly more scope for having a different sort of impact, whatever you want to do. So this one's called Business for Good. And again, you can create personalized impact plan. You can decide exactly what you want your money to go towards and decide whether it's new clients, new products, sales from products, whatever you want to do. But I think this would make an impression if people are deciding which company to go with, and you're saying new clients, sales we make all goes to helping people in other countries less developed than ours. This is how we're helping. It's not just about the business. We want to make a difference um, in our community around the world. That must have an impact on clients, some potential clients, I would say. So that's Business for Good. And then I wasn't finished with the rabbit hole. Some of you may have heard of B Corporation already, which is about um, certification for a business to show that you care for your staff, you care for your clients, you care for your community, and you care for the planet. And you go through and you just make a better business, showing that you care, that it's not all about the profit. So B Corporation is something that lots of people have heard of. Um, you may have the impression that it's for bigger businesses. There's a lot more information here on their website. And the last link I'm going to show you is something quite similar. It's called the Organization for Responsible Businesses, but it's on a smaller scale. So this is more aimed at solo, micro, small businesses in the UK. It's the same sort of concept. Be kind, look after your staff, look after your clients, be part of the community, care for the planet, all the same things. And they give you a badge that you can put on your website. And it's a community of people. There's a directory you can link up with other businesses who have the same, hopefully, ethos as you and support each other. So this is an option. If you think B Corporation is too big for you, this ORB might be a solution for smaller businesses. But it's the same sort of concept, basically. Look after your staff, look after your clients, be part of the community, care for the planet. There. That was quite a rabbit hole, wasn't it? I forgot. Right, we're nearly there. I'm going to close all those. All the links are here, so you don't have to keep track of them. You can see them all afterwards. So the other option for half an idea is invent a custom plugin for WordPress. Now, I did this a few months ago, so I'm going to show you my story, but the half an idea is just leaving you with, you could create a plugin, even if you think you're not a coder, because these days with AI, I did it using ChatGPT. I don't know how to create a plugin, but I asked ChatGPT to do it for me. And I just told it what to do and gave it the information, and it generated a plugin, which is now part of my website. So you don't have to be a coder. The sky's the limit, basically. So your imagination, your challenge with half an idea is what do you want a plugin to do? So I'll show you. This came about because around Valentine's Day, I saw a post from one of the designers I follow, and it was about having a cursor trail on your website. So around Valentine's, you could move your cursor around your website and hearts would follow it. And I thought, that's a good idea. I'd like to do that. But the way it's done on this website is you add some code here's some code to upload to your website. Here's some CSS to upload to your website, and then it will work. And I thought, okay, but that's a bit of a faff. You've got to do that around Valentine's. It would be nice to have hearts on my website for visitors. But a week before Valentine's, I've got to remember to upload the code. And about a week after Valentine's, I've got to remember to take it all off again because I don't necessarily want hearts on the website all year round. Although, as it turns out, they're on there at the minute, so I can show you afterwards. But anyway, I asked ChatGPT, can you create me a plugin to do this automatically? And it said yes. So I gave it all the code, and it generated a WordPress plugin, and I uploaded the plugin. And now, if you go to my website, so there's a link to ChatGPT, but I'm sure you've all seen ChatGPT and you know what it does. You ask it to do something and it does it. So now, if you go to my website and you move the cursor around, you can see there are hearts following the cursor. Now, I showed this to somebody recently, and I'll give you some ideas. He runs a dog sitting service, and he's asked me to create the same sort of thing with doggy prints following the cursor around. If you run a pub, you could have wine glasses or beer glasses following the cursor around. If you run a sports club, you could have footballs or rugby balls. If you're an electrician, you could have sparks following the cursor. There's all sorts of things you could do. I have a vague worry that what's going to happen with me is this seasonal variations are going to take over, and I'm going to have hearts at Valentine's. I'm going to have Easter eggs at Easter. I'm going to have balloons in the summer. I'm going to have pumpkins at Halloween. I'm going to have fireworks around bonfire night. I'm going to have Father Christmas or reindeer at Christmas. I'm going to have snow in January. I'm going to have Easter eggs around it. And I might have monthly cursor patterns, basically. I haven't done it yet, but I can see me going down that route. But again, you could just ask ChatGPT to extend whatever it is that you've built. It could be seasonal, it could be related, it could even just be a company logo that follows the mouse around the page. It could be anything like that. But my challenge to you is what would you want to follow the cursor around your website or the website that you're building for your client? What would enchant them? Because the client might be pleasantly surprised if not just you don't just build them a website, but visitors then have a fancy cursor following them around as well. So that's my version of half an idea. The rest is up to you. So then I thought, how do I finish the presentation? Those are all the ideas, and I made a mistake at the weekend. Now I wouldn't normally call reading Jodie's blog a mistake, but I don't recommend reading Jodie's blog a couple of days before you've got to give a presentation to people all about enchanting your clients and coming up with ideas for how to impress your clients. A couple of days before that, because Jodie does it all a million times better than I do. It's what she has all the experience. And her recent blog on the business allotment, I nearly phoned Martin at the weekend and delegated this presentation to Jodie, as she does it much better than I do. But building a brand experience is what Jodie's all about. Just say she talks about it a million times better than me. And in the links, I've included a link to her blog so you can read more about it, and it goes into more detail because the recent blog was all about building a brand experience. So I know it's colors, it's taste, it's bespoke music from Michael at Black Labs Music. There's so much that goes into building a brand experience. We're only sort of touching the surface here, but I would say little things can make a difference if they're all joined up. I know I saw Martin posted recently on LinkedIn about a voicemail message that he created for one of his clients. It was a 1960s sci-fi message, which is amazing because I've heard it and it's brilliant, and it's so much better than just a please leave your message after the tone. And I would say, why not link it up with that client could then have a 404 error page on their website that says, Houston, we have a problem. Why not have a space theme to their Zoom background? Why not have a rocket logo in the middle of their QR code, which links to their LinkedIn profile on their phone when they go to in-person networking? There's so much, just little things, but you can build a whole brand experience. All linked together, it can have a powerful effect on people. So Jodie talks about lumpy mail, sending out mail to people. And one of her posts recently, I saw she received a Kit Kat in the post from one of her suppliers, and it just made her think, I can have a break. Brilliant. They're in charge. They're in charge of it. I don't have to worry about it. It's little things like that that can make a difference to your clients and can enchant them. So yeah, absolutely. I've also included a note, a link in the links to there's an AI note taker called Fathom. It's free. So it claims it's always going to be free, but you can use it to record the one-to-ones you have with people. And I would say make a little note: football teams, children's names, dogs' names, make a little note of the details in the conversations you have with clients and potential clients as icebreakers next time you talk to them. As long as their football team are having a decent season, or how the kids getting on, but you can use these note takers to help you record the one-to-ones that you have and make a note of everything that you can look back on before you talk to them the next time. Other things occurred to me while I was creating this presentation, so I'm very briefly going to mention them here. For example, ask when your clients last tested the contact form on their website. That might be a little handy hint. Most businesses never test the contact form on their website. And if it breaks, they'll never know about it because people will just get cross and goes, nobody's going to tell them that the contact form is broken. Ask them if you tested it, or offer. So I can help with automatic testing if you want. Um, Ask if they know who owns their website domain. It happens so often. People don't know. But I've dealt with several cases recently where the business owner turns out didn't own the domain, and they left them in a world of hurt when something happened. Just ask them, do you own your website domain? And it's much easier to take steps. Domain ownership can be transferred, and it's better to do that while everything is working than when things go wrong and suddenly they have no access to their domain. So make a note of their birthday, either by accident if it comes up in conversation, or ask them when they come on board as a client. Um, Wish them happy birthday on their birthday. If you want to go to the next step, send them a card. I know somebody who has a business sending handwritten cards out to business clients. Again, it will make a difference. It will make your client think that you're thinking about them. It can be a good way to reconnect with clients you haven't talked to in a while, or make them a special offer for their birthday to get them back on board if you want. There's all sorts of things you can do. And ask them if they've heard of .ing domains. I know I've mentioned this several times, but if they're in advertising, consulting, engineering, banking, recruiting, printing, shipping, training, cleaning, catering, there's all sorts of fun you can have with ing domains and marketing campaigns that they might not be aware of. So have that conversation. And then I got back to thinking, have I overcomplicated this whole thing? You could enchant them just by asking clients what they want, how you can help. Just listen instead of thinking that you know what they want. That will make you stand out from the crowd in most cases, rather than imposing what you think they should have. Just listen, just ask. But I couldn't just put that on one slide and be done with it. So I'll mention it here, but I had to make the presentation longer than that. But whatever you do, whether it's for your current clients, your potential clients, for your own business, if you take the actions yourself, or you just recommend some of these to friends and contacts that they try it out and let them work out the details of how to go about it. I hope this has helped and given you at least 9.5 ideas to try out this afternoon. There you go.
Thank you, Keith.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, I forgot. There's the link.
Oh. There we go.
And there's the QR code with the TCC logo in the middle. So I definitely recommend QR Monkey if you're going to generate QR codes. But if you go to that link, you will see that list of links that I've been working through, and there's a link to the presentation.
Amazing. Thank you. I don't know if you've seen the chat, but Jude said that's about 100 ideas. So I think you're 9.5. We were talking about my bad maths earlier, but your maths is terrible.
I did apologize, and I had a feeling that might, yeah, rabbit holes and tangents. I went off on a few, sorry.
99.5 maybe. But that was great. Love that. We've still got 7 minutes left. So any questions or comments to see us through? Anybody? Whiskers.
Just a comment, I think. Well, Keith mentioned the telephone message I did for someone. Someone commented on the post about that with something that was really quite a good phrase. He said, every customer touch point is an experience with the brand. And I think there's a few in there that were, you know, definite touch points. So like the 404 message on a website, for example. But they're often, you just don't think about these places to do that sort of thing. But of course, people still are experiencing those situations. So don't just think about things like your website, like your homepage or your logo or things like that. You have to think about every place where someone might come into touch with something that you have made or created.
Love that. Anybody else? If not, I've got a question, or what is it? A question? Maybe a comment. But you were talking about the good causes and planting a tree, the loans. I love the loan as well. That seems to me a really nice idea, because it's not just a donation, is it? It's yeah, it's how business should be, and a sort of social business should be. So I love that. And I suppose my observation from that is if you are doing stuff like that, or you're that way inclined in your business, to maybe put it on your website too. So prospective clients like to work with people that are aligned in terms of values, aren't they? So maybe that would be a sort of an add-on from that, is to make it, you don't do it for that, of course, but if it's a win-win, it's a win-win, isn't it? So I don't know if you have
Absolutely.
thoughts on that.
It's yes, I'm very, very bad at that because before today, I've never told anybody that I do that, but I've been doing it for years, and
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, I probably should because it,
Because you're a nice
it
bloke.
might make people think, oh, that's, that we're contributing to that as well. And the good thing about the loans is that very occasionally they go bad, but if when the money gets repaid, you can loan it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So the money over time, you can help more and more people.
Yeah.
Even if you only do one every couple of months, over time the repayments are coming back, and you can help more and more people as the money in your account adds up.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jen?
Yeah, I was just going to say I love the sort of charitable eco tips, especially. But sometimes we sort of feel a bit strange about telling people that you're doing that sort of thing. But actually, I think what we also forget is that you're raising awareness for those organisations and the people that are getting the help at the end. So it's actually doing a lot more than just helping, hopefully, you. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely look into those more. Thank you.
I know what you mean, Jen, though. It is weird, isn't it? Because if you, and no, there's no one in this room that would do that, but sometimes it can be like you're doing these things for a social media post or that good PR, isn't it? So it is
Greenwashy.
it is, yeah, it is getting kind of tick boxing to a sense. So it's getting that balance, isn't it? Whiskers.
Picking up on what Jen was saying there about not wanting to sort of publicize that you're giving or donating or helping causes. There's a couple of quite big sort of TikTok, I don't know whether you'd call them influencers or not, who go around towns in America helping out homeless people. They will go into a shop and buy them a tent, sleeping bags, lots of food, and all things like that. And they've got a couple million followers. And people in the comments say, well, you should do this without the video. Why do you need the video? Well, it's because they've got a couple of million followers. They obviously get loads of donations to help buy all the stuff and support the people that they're trying to help, get them, rooms for the night and that sort of thing. So it's not always, don't worry about, like Jen said, it's raising awareness, isn't it? And without people seeing your post, it might inspire people to do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if it was them trying to get more followers or more engagement, well, the end point is still people benefiting, isn't it? So whatever happens, it is good. But yeah, good stuff. So we've got a couple more minutes. Anybody else or any more?
I've bombarded them too much.
Yeah, is that 99.5 problems, not just 9. There's probably a pun that I could say with the Jay-Z song on that, but I'm too tired. So okay, we'll wrap up there. But a final thank you. Thank you, mate. I've just seen the chat from Whiskers. Keith, thank you. That was awesome. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, I love these workshops because you always go away from it with loads of food for thought and loads of lists that you think, well, I've got to do that, I've got to do that, I've got to do that. But yeah, that was really super helpful. So thank you for your obvious hard work in putting that together. We appreciate it. So a final round of applause.